Your life at every level of savings. You wake up at 6:47 in the morning, and the first thing you notice is that you didn't check your phone in a panic. No overdraft text, no red numbers waiting for you, just the sound of the coffee maker clicking on, because you set the timer last night. The smell of it already filling the kitchen before your feet even hit the floor. You didn't always wake up like this. There was a version of you that had just $100 to your name, not 100 saved. 100 left. After rent, after the card payment, after gas. You remember standing in a grocery store parking lot, doing math in your head, deciding between the good coffee and the store brand. It felt insignificant, like it didn't matter, like $100 couldn't possibly be the beginning of anything. But you kept it. You didn't touch it. And that single decision, to leave it alone, became a habit, before it became a number. You're 24. You have $1,000 now. Not from a windfall. From weeks of small refusals. The drink you didn't buy, the ride you didn't take, the subscription you finally canceled. Your coworker, Danielle, gets her tax refund and spends it in a weekend. New shoes, a weekend trip. She shows you the pictures at lunch, glowing. And part of you feels that pull, that itch to prove you're doing fine too. You say nothing, you smile, you ask about her trip, and you go back to your desk. That night, you open your banking app, just to look at the number. $1,000. It doesn't feel like wealth. It feels like proof. Proof that you can do the thing you say you're going to do. You close the app and wonder what it would feel like to never check it out of fear again. You are 26. $10,000. You're sitting in your car in the work parking lot, engine off, just breathing. Your car made a noise last week. The kind that used to send you into a spiral, calculating which bill you'd delay. This time, you booked the mechanic appointment and didn't think about it again. Your rent gets paid without you flinching at the due date. That's the whole headline. Nobody claps for that. But you feel it in your shoulders. A looseness that wasn't there a year ago. Your cousin Marcus calls. Needs $300 until Friday. You send it, without checking your balance first. Because for once, you don't have to. He asks how you're doing so well. You shrug and say you just don't spend much. You don't mention the 18 months of grocery lists, the meal prep containers, the nights you stayed in. He wouldn't ask about those anyway. Nobody asks about the boring part. You are 28. Something shifts. Someone at a dinner party mentions an opportunity, a crypto coin about to explode. A friend of a friend who tripled his money in 6 weeks. The room leans in. Eyes light up. You feel the pull, too. That specific kind of gravity that makes patience feel stupid for a second. You go home and look at your $10,000. You think about how long it took to build. You think about how fast it could disappear. You don't invest. You go to sleep. 3 months later, you hear the coin collapsed. The friend of a friend went quiet on social media. Nobody talks about it at the next dinner party. You never mention it either. You don't need to be right out loud. Being right in your bank account is enough. You are 29. $50,000. You're standing in an airport terminal and for the first time, you bought the flight without checking 3 comparison sites first. Not because you don't care about money, and because you finally trust the foundation under you. Your boss, the one who's worked 20 years and still talks about retirement like a fantasy, asks how you afford to travel so much on your salary. You tell him half the truth. You just don't buy things you don't need. He nods, but you can see it doesn't land. He's still paying off a boat he bought 4 years ago to feel like he'd made it. You don't feel like you've made it. You feel like you're building something with a foundation that won't crack the next time life throws something at you. You are 31, $100,000. You're at a restaurant with old friends and the check comes. There's that familiar tension in the air. The silent math everyone does. You just pay your share. without blinking. Someone jokes, "Must be nice." It is nice, but it isn't luck. It's 4 years of choosing boring over exciting. 4 years of watching your number grow instead of your closet. Later, alone in your apartment, you sit with the number for a second. $100,000. It used to be a fantasy figure, something people said in movies. Now it's just Tuesday. You realize the goal was never the number. It was this, the quiet, the absence of dread, the ability to make a decision without fear whispering behind it. You are 34, $250,000. Your friend from college, the one who always seemed ahead, better job title, nicer car, reaches out, says he's struggling, layoffs at his company, and he has almost nothing saved because his lifestyle grew with every raise. You don't gloat. You just listen. You remember being the one who felt behind. You realize somewhere in the last decade, without a single dramatic moment, you crossed a line most people never cross. Not because you were smarter, because you were quieter, longer. You are 38, $1 million. You don't feel it the day it happens. You're just refreshing an account on a Tuesday afternoon, standing in your kitchen. And the number is there. There's no confetti, no one claps. The moment is almost silent. You sit down at the table. You think about the version of you standing in that grocery store parking lot, choosing store-brand coffee, believing $100 didn't matter. It mattered. It was never about the $100. It was about the person who decided to keep it. People will ask you later, what changed? What was the secret? What did you discover that they hadn't? You'll never have a satisfying answer for them, because the truth isn't exciting enough to repeat at dinner parties. The truth is quieter than that. The truth is that somewhere, on an ordinary day nobody remembers, you simply decided not to spend the $100, and you never stopped deciding.